Okay, I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Bedford Township Planning Commission. It is 7:02. Let's stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. I think we're missing our secretary. Can you do the roll, Director?
Yes. Mr. Trombley.
Yep.
Mr. Steiner.
Here.
Mr. Lake.
Here.
Mr. Mahoney.
Here.
Mr. Helm.
Here.
Mr. Andrews is here and excused, and Aaron Waynes is excused.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yes.
Item 4, approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda submitted.
Support. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay. Moving on to approval of the minutes from March 27, 2024.
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes of March 27, 2024.
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
I'll abstain as I was not here.
Okay, motion passes unanimously. Okay, moving on to item 6, public comment, limited to 3 minutes. Seeing nobody interested in making any comments, we'll move on to item 7, new business. Should we open the public hearing now? Okay, someone make a motion to open the public hearing?
I'll make a motion, we open the public hearing.
I'll second.
Okay, Grant, can you do the roll?
Mr. Trombley?
Aye.
Mr. Steiner?
Aye.
Mr. Lake?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Andrews says yes. Mr. Helm?
Yes.
Okay. Public hearing is now open. It is 7:03. Is there anybody out in the public that would like to make a comment?
I'm just here about that. Next
Yeah.
to the mobile home park, that big complex on Telegraph and State Line.
Are you here to make a comment about the parcel on the south side of that, southeast of the mobile home park?
Well, yeah, that would be the south.
Okay, then you just need to come to the podium if you want to make any comments.
I just want to know what's going on with it, that's all.
So no comment.
No comment.
Okay, thank you. Is there any letters from the public?
We had received a couple calls. They were just inquiring because they hadn't received any notices prior to receiving that one, but had no concerns other than just what was would be permitted in the C3 zoning district, and we guided them to review the ordinance language.
Okay, so nothing to put into the record. Okay.
It's just a copy, Pat.
Gotcha. Okay. Do we want to keep it open or should we close it?
If there's no public comment, I would close the public hearing and then move on and have the applicant come up.
Okay, someone make a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Support.
Okay, would you call the roll, Grant?
Mr. Trombley?
Aye.
Mr. Steiner?
Aye.
Mr. Lake?
Aye.
Mr. Mahoney?
Aye.
Mr. Andrews is aye. Mr. Helm?
Aye.
Okay, public comment time is over at 7:05. Okay, moving on. There's a request from Bedford Property Holdings, LLC, Jason Jindo, for the rezoning request of a portion of parcel number 58-02-102-001-00 from MHP Manufactured Home Community to C3 General Commercial located on the west side of Telegraph Road, north of State Line Road, Temperance, Michigan, 48182. Ms. Rector.
Yes, again, the applicant is just Bedford Property Holdings, LLC, Jason Jindo, representative. Property is currently split zoned mobile home, manufactured home community, and C3 general commercial. The vacant subject parcel is approximately 10.59 acres with approximately 457.49 feet of frontage on Telegraph Road and approximately 1,072 feet of frontage on State Line Road. The request is to rezone an approximate 7.6 acres from MHP Manufactured Home Community to C3 General Commercial to bring the parcel into one zoning district as the property is currently split zoned. The applicant is requesting the rezoning of C3 General Commercial Zoning District for a future commercial development. Master plan designates it as a mixed use, and the Planning Department requested a review for the rezoning request from Lucy Fortin, the Manikin Smith Group, the Bedford Township Planner, supplied an overall review, the subject area, and the information is included in your packet. Ms. Fortin concluded the proposed zoning and use is consistent with the goals, policies, and future land use of the master plan. And in conclusion, it was suggested the Planning Commission make a recommendation to the Township Board to approve the rezoning request for the following key reasons. A C3 zoning district is consistent with the Township Master Plan goals and policies. With frontage on 2 roadways and a high-traffic location, the car-dependent uses allowed in the C3 zoning district classified would be appropriate for this property, and the portion of the property designated as MHP is not large enough to accommodate the use permitted in an MHP district. A rezoning would remove the current split zoning use of the property, and the uses that may be more objectable in this location are allowed by a special approval, which provides the opportunity for the Planning Commission and the Township Board to impose reasonable conditions to alleviate any potential impact on the surrounding properties. Reasonable conditions such as increased landscaping or screening, reduced hours of operations, or similar mitigation measures could be imposed when considering the special approval request.
Thank you.
I'll just take a quick look at the map here. This is the subject parcel, and the frontage on Telegraph is what is currently Zone C3, which is consistent with the surrounding zoning districts on Telegraph, and the remainder of it that abuts the mobile home community is the portion that is being sought to be rezoned. And this is the portion in our assessing program that says the front is zone 300 feet is zone C3 and the remainder is zone MHP. And then I did provide in the packet, well, could Ms. Ingram provided in the packet, the review from Ms. Fortin regarding the zoning district request supporting the rezoning.
Is the applicant here? You want to step up to the podium?
Yes, sir.
State your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Jason Jindo. My address is 7698 Watford Drive, West Bloomfield, Michigan.
Okay, thank you. And I just want to ask you, we are 1 board member short tonight. You need 4 affirmative votes to proceed to a recommendation to the Township Board. Do you want to proceed, or do you?
I'd like to proceed, yes.
Okay. Is there anything you want to add to what Ms. Rector had to say?
No, not really. I mean, I purchased this property about maybe like 4 or 5 months ago, and the MHP is not valid anyways, because even if I want to do mobile home parks there, I wouldn't be able to do it. So the recommendation was just to get it all Zone C3.
Does anybody have questions, Mr. Ginto? All right, Mr. Lake?
Just a question on the comment there. If it was zoned MHP, so mobile home park, you mentioned you wouldn't be actionable, I guess. What would make it unable to use it in that type of zone?
From my understanding, I spoke to Jody, and it was state regulations for something, right?
There are state regulations and regulations in our ordinance. And I'm going to look because I can't remember if it's 10 acres or 20 would have to be the minimum of a mobile home park. So he would have to request to rezone the C3 portion, and I don't believe that meeting any of the setbacks, having the 2 front yards, would be feasible to even put maybe a small portion to be developed as with manufactured homes, and then to also meet all the state requirements that would be in place for that. But I'm going to look so I can give you the exact square acreage that is required.
Sure.
But regardless, I really had no interest in doing mobile home park over there. So.
Understood. Yep.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
It says, a mobile home park shall have an open area of at least 1 acre in area. For mobile home parks containing more than 150 sites, the minimum of 1 acre by 200 square feet and 150 base. The maximum of 15 feet of the required 25-foot setback, and then is set forth with restrictions abutting additional zoning districts. This one would abut of course, the mobile home park community. But it does then go further into Vehicular access to the mobile home park shall be in accordance with the section of 1915. So he would have to then have access from Telegraph through the mobile home park, so feasibly to develop it as a mobile home park and create it. And in Miss Fortin's letter, she does refer to the 20 acres required for a mobile home park. And it does say it in our ordinance, because I remember giving it, but I couldn't remember if it was 10
Good
or 20.
information.
Because Ms. Fortin and I did go over it because we wanted to make sure what the requirements were. There are height and bulk requirements. No mobile home, community building, or service building shall be located closer than 25 feet to any mobile home property line. So there would be he would have to seek several variances to even be able to move forward. Plus, then it does refer to meeting state requirements.
So our zoning, you mentioned there was a limit on the zoning from an acreage perspective as well?
It says mobile home parks shall not be permitted on parcels of less than 20 acres in area.
That was the state requirement.
Our ordinance.
That's the Bedford Township.
It's section 400.802, number 2, required conditions, letter B.
Thanks. Anybody have any other questions for Mr. Jindo? You know what you want to do with the property,
Probably another retail establishment. I own the liquor cabinets here
right?
in town. And then if, the reason I was thinking about rezoning is because we can push the property back. I could start there, and then if I could find other tenants, kind of build onto it, kind of create a small plaza over there.
You have any plans? I know you're not submitting site plans right now, but
No, not.
have barriers to the existing.
I'm sorry?
Barriers to the existing mobile home park you're abutting it again.
Yeah, I was planning on having fencing around there, yeah, and leaving some foliage there to make sure so that there wouldn't be an eyesore to anybody. But there's plenty of room there, so I don't think I'll be using it all.
Should he move forward with development, it would go through site plan approval process, and then any of the uses that would require special approval would be a public hearing regarding and the public would be notified. But it would clear up the split zone property, regardless whether it was mobile home park or C3 zoning district.
Mr. Lake?
Yeah, just one more question. Okay, so if it is all C3 zoning, would there be any restrictions other than, the site approval, of course, but restrictions as to what you could build there currently in its current state?
It would be what would be permitted by zoning, and then there would be some uses, as Ms. Fortin stated in her letter, that if there were a use that requires special approval, such as if it was, I think, a car wash in a C3 or a gas station in a C3, would require special approval, and there are size restrictions. You would have different kind of landscaping and buffering, and then the Planning Commission can put further restrictions on a special approval request.
So follow-up question so the difference between being mobile home park on 10 acres versus C3 is mobile home park, you still are not meeting the letter of law. You would require a lot of variances even just get started versus a C3, there's certain things you could build there without having to seek additional variances and or
Correct.
Other approvals.
And by Mr. Jindo's response saying a multi-unit commercial would be actually permitted in a C1 district, but he's just looking to bring the property into compliance of what the existing zoning is already in place.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Mahoney?
Mr. Steiner?
So Mr. Lake went down the same path that I did, the question of why couldn't the mobile home be done? Not that you'd want to put a mobile home park in, but that was just a question.
And do you think the community even wants another mobile
Well,
home
I'm just
park?
saying, that was just for clarification, why it stated that in our write-up. And back to Mr. Lake, there's 12 or 14, I just counted, items here that would be under special approval anyway. There's probably about the same amount that are permitted already under C3, and like I said, it's about 50-50 split on what's permitted and what's special. So obviously he's aware of what he would need to get special approval if he moves forward with the rezoning. I do agree with the fact of, getting rid of split zoning. That's one of the things we try to do whenever we've got split zoning, is to try to bring things into compliance the best we can. And what I've seen so far, I don't see any issue with moving forward on this. Bring it into compliance, clean up the property, make it a viable tax revenue and business revenue within the township as well. So.
Yeah, before I took it over, in case anybody's not familiar with that property, I mean, it was just used to park broke down trailer beds on that the property owner didn't even own. It's actually the guy that owns, he's across State Line Road and owns like a scrapyard there, and was just using that property even though he didn't have authorization to do it.
Yeah, that's one thing I appreciate about the fact of this property is going to get cleaned up.
Any other questions? If somebody cares to make a motion, just remember we have to put it in form of a recommendation to the board.
I'll make a stab at it. Of course, I'm going to make it in form of a recommendation, so I appreciate that. So I'll make a motion that we recommend consolidating the zoning of this property to C3 for several reasons. One, to rectify the split zoning. Two, conform with the master plan. Another point here is C3 is appropriate based on the traffic flow within that area. C3 would require further approval for potential objectionable items that might go there. And then last but certainly not least, even if we zoned it to mobile home park, you would still require a lot of variances, so more loopholes, more red tape to go through.
I'll second that and make another friendly amendment. Also want to add that it has the appropriate infrastructure, water and sewer, et cetera, to make this a viable piece of property under C3.
I'll accept the amendment.
Okay, Grant, do you want to take a roll call?
Sure. Mr. Lake,
Yes.
Mr. Steiner,
Aye.
Mr. Trombley,
Aye.
Mr. Andrews is aye, Mr. Helm,
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Mahoney.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you very much. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Okay, moving on to item 8, public comment. Somebody in the public would like to make a comment?
I just don't know what he's going to do, that's all.
Seeing none, we'll move on to item 9, information. Ms. Rector?
I have nothing.
Okay. Moving on to item 10, commission staff comment. We'll start with you, Mr. Tremblay.
Nothing other than good luck on your development.
Mr. Steiner?
Well, I can say hump day is almost over. And I will say that, I met Mr. Jindo a number of years ago when he first came to town, and he bought and developed the liquor cabinet over at Stearns and Lewis. And then he's moved over into the old Food Town facility on Secor Road. He's done a heck of a job with his business, and I just hope that, and I've got confidence that he will continue and he'll thrive and make this a good property. He's starting from scratch, so it's not like he's going to remodel anything. He's going to start from scratch, and it's going to be brand new, and I think he's going to do a great job.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Mr. Lake?
Good.
Ms. Rector?
My comment is mostly for information. The item that was on for recommendation tonight will go to the first meeting in June to the Township Board. My apologies, I don't have that exact date.
Okay. Mr. Camperth? You have
Nothing.
Okay. Ms. Ingram?
I have nothing.
Mr. Helm?
I have nothing.
And Mr. Andrews?
Yeah, in honor of the Memorial Day holiday this coming Monday, thanks to all in the community that have served and are serving and plan to serve. And thanks to the commission.
Great, thank you. And I just have one thing to say, shameless promotion for the Bedford Veterans Center's golf outing coming up on June 22nd. We need players, we need sponsors. So for the 6 people watching, please give us a consideration. So seeing...
Mr. Mahoney, Jody, June 4th is a Tuesday for the
Thank you.
first Township Board meeting.
Moving on to item 11, we'll adjourn the meeting. It is 7:21.